Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Stitches. I am your yarn host Jennifer. Today it is PYOW, and PYOW means Premier Yarn of the Week. Now, every Thursday I like to do a PYOW episode, and we talk about one of my favorite yarns from Premier Yarns, or we feature a new yarn from Premier Yarns. The idea is to just give you an idea of what is available. Because a lot of times, and I said this in a very recent video, we get so hung up on the brand new yarns that we forget about the old favorites. And this yarn actually isn't that old. I believe this was released, I'm almost positive this was released during the pandemic. So with that being said, I ordered this through the internet. And this is only from Premier Yarns. This is an exclusive yarn. Now, like I said, I've had this in my stash for a while. I have not used it yet. However, there is an unboxing video of this yarn when I purchased it. I believe I was on my back deck and I was filming, and I will try to remember to link that below because I've been really bad about that. But when I pulled this yarn out of the box, my first instinct was, holy crap, that yarn is soft. Now, it comes in these amazing, beautiful colors. Matter of fact, it doesn't just come in these 3 colors. It comes in actually 16 colors. The 16 colors are all these rich tones. A lot of them are jewel toned. They do have, I think they have a white. But they also have, like, I mean, beautiful, beautiful, rich color yarns. And I know you see that's not the same. But the reason I brought this yarn out was because I wanted to show you something. Which made me kind of happy. The thing that really, really got me about the Everyday Medley when I unboxed it the first time is how stinking soft this yarn is. I just really, really like the texture of this yarn. And I was like, okay, well, I know that I like any yarn that says the Everyday Anti-Pilling yarn from Premier. I've said that in the past. Like, these are my top yarns. If it says Anti-Pilling and it says Everyday and it says Premier Yarns, I'm reaching for it. I'm grabbing it. I'm buying it because it's my favorite of all of the yarns ever created because of the way that it feels when you work it up and, like, the way it feels slipping between my fingers. And the way it feels even in the ball. Like, I just like the way the Anti-Pilling Everyday yarn feels. And the Everyday collection, they have a lot of different yarns. They have the plain old Everyday. This is a much older skein. This skein's like 5 years old. So it's got the Deborah Norville on it. But the Everyday Premier Yarns is just, it's soft. It's squish. It's my favorite yarn. And they make the plain old colors. The Medley has like this tonal effect to it. It's like a tonal yarn, which I will absolutely zoom in and show you more of that. But they also have cakes. They have everyday cakes, the Everyday DK in cakes. So there's lots of variety on the Anti-Pilling and Everyday line. This is just one of them. But I think this one is not as well known for whatever reason. So that's why I brought the Everyday Medley, and also because baby girl helped me pick this yarn. So my niece, who is now 4, I gave her a choice of yarns that we should show for PYOW, and she said we needed to do the medley. She wanted me to do it in pink, but these are the 3 colors that I have. But the reason I brought this up is because this is the regular Anti-Pilling Everyday, and this is the medley. And as soft as the Everyday acrylic is, the medley is just that much softer. So it just feels good. There's totally a hair there. It just feels good. I like the way it feels. It's squish. And I have not worked with this because I've been busy working with all kinds of other stupid things that were inconsequential. So these are the 3 colors that I have. These retail for, I think when I checked this morning, it was $4.49 per ball. And they are 219 yards of 100% anti-pilling acrylic. They also have the Okotex Standard 100 seal, so it's tested and approved against 350 plus harmful substances. There are some times that acrylic yarns are treated with certain chemicals or substances that can cause skin irritations. And you guys know that I have eczema. I have a specific type of eczema that causes really deep blisters and peeling and all kinds of stuff. So I like the Okotex standard on these yarns because it's a better chance that I'm not going to have a bad reaction to the yarn. It also is saying that like this yarn is safe for use with sensitive skin, baby skin. Sometimes chemicals can be used in the treating of, or the coloring, or the whatever of yarns that can be like cancer-causing ingredients. And so the Okotex just, it says that this yarn is safe. You can use this for babies. And being how soft this is, I would definitely use this for babies. And also, I know that a lot of people think about babies, they think about pastels, and these are not pastel yarns. However, I'm going to say this, the way the market is changing and the way people's tastes are changing, a lot more baby items are being made with the color gray specifically and more rich jewel tones. The last 2 baby blankets that I made, aside from my newest baby niece, one was like my cousin's daughter had a baby, so my cousin's grandchild, if you will, had a baby. She did rich jewel tones, and a longtime friend, well, she's an internet friend, but I still call her a friend. She became a grandmother a couple years ago, and her daughter-in-law chose rich jewel tones. And can I tell you, making baby stuff out of jewel tones is so fun to me because I don't like a lot of pastels. I like color. I like rainbow color. I like color. So that's why I'm very happy to say, jewel tones are in for babies if you want to do that. If not, this makes beautiful garments. It's going to make nice soft garments that, keep you warmer. Honestly, I can't think of something I would not make out of this Premier Anti-Pilling Medley. Now, let's get in close because I really want you guys to see the tonal effects of these yarns. Now, if you look really close here, there is 2 different shades of blue, and one is more of a grayish blue, is a deep blue, and it gives this beautiful tonal effect to it. And the way the light reflects off of it when it's crocheted up is absolutely stunning. The same thing with the gray. The gray has 2 shades of gray, which it's not showing up as much on the camera as it is to my eye. So let's see if we can remedy that. Yeah, I think that's a little bit closer. I mean, the light is definitely affecting the way the camera's picking up, but it's as tonal as this, but on my end of the camera, it doesn't look as tonal on the lens, but trust me, it definitely is. And then we have this beautiful, what is this color? Berry Medley. Look at that. There's actually several different shades in this one. This one is my favorite. It has grays and a berry or a wine color, and then it has like a lighter, almost a creamy color in there. So there is like very, very depth of color. When this works up, it will give you more of a tonal hand-dyed look to the yarn because of all of the different overlaid color, or almost like, it almost looks frosted, I think it's just absolutely stunning. So now that we've taken a good look, let me tell you the colors that I possess. So like I said, this one is Berry Medley. Oh no, Berry Marble. Berry Marble. And this is the beautiful red colors. Machine wash, warm, tumble dry. And the fact that it is the everyday anti-pilling acrylic, they guarantee that this is good for, I don't remember exactly how many washes. I think it's like 350 washes, and it will stay new wash after wash. That's their slogan. But I have noticed it to be true that it will not pill up. See, we got a little fuzz there. But if you get any kind of fuzzies on this yarn, if you throw it in the washer, the pills wash away. They fall off. So this is going to stay looking good for a long time. So this is going to be definitely a long-term, like if you're making a blanket for somebody, you definitely want to use something like this. This color is Blue Note. Blue Note. And then the gray is Gray Marble. So, what do you say? You guys want to work up a swatch? Now, I believe, now that I'm thinking back, I really do think that I have made something out of this specific colorway. I just don't remember what it is because I make so much stuff. But, Yeah, I totally missed it. I missed it. I was told that if you take the label off and you squish it like that, it'll make it easier to get the center pole, but I never remember to do that. And I already messed up inside there, so I already messed it up. I could feel it. Yep, yarn barf. That's all right. At least we don't have to fight to get a sample. So we're going to work up a little quickie swatch. I'm telling you, this stuff just feels like, even in yarn bar form, this feels good. Like it almost feels cool to the touch, which usually you only get from bamboo. There we go. There we go. Luckily, I have more than one of these red skeins hanging around. So, you know, I may have to cut this part out of the video while I wrestle the yarn barf that I created. You know, and it just takes you grabbing the wrong strand for 1 second. That's another thing I like with anti-pilling yarn. It doesn't stick on itself, so it untangles very easily. All right, now, I picked a hook that kind of matched the yarn a little bit. So this is my Omi hook. We are using a 5.5 millimeter. The swatchy thing suggests 4.5 for knitting needles and for a hook, but I always use bigger than they suggest because I don't like real tight, dense stitches. That's just personal preference. This is also one of my favorite hooks. It is available on Amazon. Well, I don't know if this specific one's on Amazon right now because they sell out so quick, especially when I call out the Omi hooks. They sell like hotcakes. But if I can find one, I will put the link in the description box below for you. Really, really, really like this yarn. And you're going to hear that from me a lot during this video. It's just smooth. It's smooth, but it's not slick. So it's not slippery. It doesn't have like a shine on it like bamboo does or like some other slippery yarns that we know are on the market. But don't get me wrong, this stuff is soft. And there's been a lot of times I'm working up a yarn sample or yarn, like making a project, and I get crocheting with it, and I'm like, okay, if you look where this hits my fingers here and here, those are very sensitive parts of your hand in general, but for me it's extra so because that's where my eczema tends to act up, is along the palms of my hands and in between my fingers. So because of that, there are some yarns that, for example, I am working with wool currently, and wool I have to, be careful with because the wool will wear at my fingers and I get these wonderful patches where my skin starts to peel and hurt and whatever. I don't ever have that problem with Premier Yarns anti-pilling acrylic. The everyday line, never. It doesn't irritate my skin like at all. It doesn't eventually get warm and start to like irritate like some things do. Like there's a lot of yarns that irritate my skin, quite honestly. I've mentioned those in the past. That's so pretty. I really, really like the depth of colors. See, and now as I'm sitting here and I only have these 3 colors in my stash, I'm thinking, well, maybe, this is so terrible. Pardon me. Maybe I need to order some more of this yarn in more colors because it's so pretty. God help me, I don't need more yarn. But I was looking at the website in preparation for this video, and I was looking at how beautiful these colors are. And I only have these 3 colors. You guys know. You guys know. We get looking at yarn and we just want it all. We just want it all. I'm just doing double crochets now. Yeah. A true test of a soft yarn, in my opinion, is a yarn that doesn't squeak on resin hooks. And this is not at all squeaking or rubbing or causing friction. I mean, these Omi hooks are pretty smooth anyway, but like cotton, like straight cotton, squeaks really bad. Some acrylics squeak really bad. I totally messed up there. It's fine. It's fine. It's so pretty. And you guys can't even see because you're kind of far away. Let me get you in there. Look at that. Isn't that color pretty? Do you see how like the light affects? The light is like reflecting off of the different colors in a different way. So when you work it up, and it's so soft. It's so nice. going to do some singles because I haven't done singles. I'm going to try to keep you guys close, but that means I have to tilt my head around the camera because I can't see my hands. This is so pretty. And it works up really nice. So, do I recommend Medley? Of course I do, because the PYOW videos are about yarns that I recommend, not yarns that I don't like. These are totally biased reviews because I love Premier Yarns. They are my favorite yarn company to work with. They're my favorite yarn. They have been the yarn that I learned to crochet. Well, I didn't learn to crochet on Premier Yarns, but I really started to learn about yarn when I discovered Premier Yarn. And because of that, they are like a fan favorite in my head. That's so pretty. Let's do a star stitch because we haven't done a star stitch in a while. Oops. Like I said, I'm looking around the camera. And I like doing specialty stitches like star stitches or bobbles or popcorn or whatever because it gives you an idea of what it's like to work a difficult or a more difficult stitch. And when you have lots of hooks or lots of loops on your hooks, as a true test of hook and yarn combinations together. Sometimes I get crocheting on camera and I can hear my wrist popping. It's like I'm popping popcorn in there. The star stitch. Should probably pull out my knitting needles and show you guys what this knits up like too, because I've never knit with this yarn. I have only crocheted with it. So we'll do this star stitch. And then I'll pull the camera back because, you know, knitting. I need to see what I'm doing when I'm knitting. I can crochet blindfolded. I cannot knit blindfolded. I mean, I can knit without looking at my hands, for the most part. But on camera, it's better for me to see what I'm doing. Come on. All right. We'll go back through and we'll do the single crochets to finish off the stitch. That's how you do the star stitch. You have 2 rows to complete the stitch. And then I'm going to attempt to find some knitting needles because I don't think there's any on my desk currently. I haven't been knitting at all recently. I've just really been enjoying the craft of crochet. I haven't been doing any other crafts, as a matter of fact. I've just been crocheting. I haven't macrameed or weaved or anything like that. All right. That is our crochet swatchy swatch. That's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Love the way that works up. Now, let's go get our knitting needles. All right, I just got some DPNs. I don't even know what size these are because that's what was available when I was close by. Now, I don't need that chain. I don't know why I chained that. All right. I'm going to just try to... I'll try to pull up some loops. This might take a minute. Every time I do these swatches where I crochet and knit on the same swatch, people are always so confused. Like, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know I could do this either. Actually, a couple people in the comments suggested, why don't you just knit and crochet into the same project? Or, you know, you could have fixed that with crochet on the outside of the knitting project. And I was like, it didn't even occur to me to mix the arts. And then when I do mix the arts, it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Now, before I get knitting, I'm going to say that I knit all kinds of different ways, okay? I don't knit, I don't throw, and I always get criticism or correction in the way that I knit. I'm not allowing that on this channel. If you don't like the way that I knit, or you have to correct me or tell me that I'm doing something wrong, you can turn off the video right now, because I don't like that. I knit the way I knit. I knit the way it's comfortable for me, because I really struggled with knitting for a long time. I need to move my camera up higher so I can see what I'm doing. And I don't need the criticism. My brain did not wrap around traditional knitting. So I knit the way that I knit, and it works out beautifully. It does not, I don't have any problems. My projects turn out beautifully. So it may look wrong to you, and it may not be the way that you learn to knit, but this is the way that I knit, and it is okay. Now, with that being said, no corrections, no telling me I'm doing it wrong, because this is not the only way that I knit. I knit in many different fashions. I absolutely know how to knit through the front loop. I don't like knitting through the front loop. I like knitting through the back loop. And it's all fine. It's fine. It's all good. I'm just going to do some garter stitches right here, which is just knitting every row. Like I said, I'm just using DPNs because that's what was the closest to me without me digging. I asked Little Man the other day to go get me a needle so I could weave in my ends on his Power Moon, and this is what he brought me. He brought me a knitting needle because he knew it was a needle, which impressed me that he knew that this was a needle. And I was like, nope, I need a needle that you sew with. And so I sent him back, and he found me one with the quickness. Now, I've been told that garter stitch is like the best stitch for squishiness. And I just remembered what I made with this yarn, because I did knit with this yarn. At least I think I did. I may be misremembering. I think I have knit with this yarn before. I just had a flashback memory. Because I remember saying how squishy and soft the yarn is, and I worked it in garter. And then I was told that the reason it's so soft is because you worked it in garter, because garter is a soft, squishy stitch, which I did not know at the time. And then I learned very early during that garter is a soft, squishy stitch. And I like working garter. I hated garter when I first learned to knit, because when I first learned to knit, I was like, okay, my idea of knitting is the knit stitch, because it's pretty, you know, and your idea is that the knits should all line up. And if you're doing this, you might as well just be crocheting if you're making all this bumpiness, right? And so when I first learned to knit, I was like, I hate the garter stitch. And so I was anti-garter stitch. So I realized how soft and squishy it is and how fast it works up. And I was like, well, maybe I like the garter stitch. It's fun. And there ain't no extra nothing to it. You just knit and knit and knit and knit. Which is why I like knitting in the round, because that's all you do is knit and knit and knit. Whereas to get the knit stitch, crocheting back and forth like this, you have to do a knit row, a purl row, a knit row, purl row. And a lot of people are like anti-purl, but I think because of the way I knit, because I knit through the back loop, when I knit through the back loop, I'll show you guys, because I'll do the next row, purl row, so you guys can see what I'm talking about, because a lot of you are crocheters. So when I knit through the back row, that's what that looks like. But to purl, you do it through the front loop. So to purl, you bring the yarn to the front, and you do exactly the same thing. Let's see if I can show you guys. You pull it this way. So to me, the way I purl is I purl, like when I purl, it's a reverse of my knit. So it's just to me, purling is not a big deal. It's just doing the other side. Whereas when I knit, I do this same motion on the back side of the hook. But when I'm working back and forth like this, this is where my stitches get twisted, because I purl backwards. I twist my purl stitches. Which took me a long time to figure that out. But I don't care because I knit for my own enjoyment. I don't knit for approval. And see, when you purl, you get the knit stitch. See, knit this way. I was asked if I would please do this slow motion on camera. I don't know if you guys know, but you can totally slow these videos down on the side. If you're watching this on your phone, or on a computer, there's a little function on this side, I think, that tells you can slow down the video so that I'm talking much slower and crocheting much slower, like this, or knitting, or whatever you want to call it. So. I've got to say, this knits up as easily as it does crochet. It's not splitting. It's not fighting the needles. It's not giving me any problems. Ooh. See, when I slow down too much on purpose so that you guys can see what I'm doing, that's when I mess up. You gotta get to a rhythm. When you get knitting, the thing that I like about knitting, this is very much a stimulus thing. When I get knitting, you hear the tapping of the needles. That to me is like so, when you get to a rhythm and it's clack, 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 it is soothing to me. As long as it's not a project that I have to really concentrate and think about. So now we got a crochet down here, super squish, garter stitch right there, super squish, knit, not as squishy, but just as beautiful. So that is our sample. Let's do one more row of knit, because why the heck not? Make that a little bit longer. See, now that I'm sitting here knitting, now I want to knit, but I have crochet projects that I need to finish. I'm working on a shawl right now that I have a love-hate relationship with. And I just am ready for it to be done with because it's beautiful, but I'm not enjoying it. However, I'm in love and sitting here knitting this. If you guys don't mind spending some time with me while I just yammer. So check out the Premier Medley yarns. I will put my little affiliate link below. They don't know that I'm making this video. They didn't ask me to make this video. This is just me showing you guys some of my favorite yarns that I have ever purchased or worked with. That's the purpose of these videos. You know, I really, really enjoy this yarn. I love the colors of it. If you're a jewel tone girl, which I am not normally a jewel tone girl. I'm usually like a bright, sunshiny rainbow kind of girl. But this yarn it speaks to me. It just makes me happy looking at it. Like, I love the depth of color. I love the squish factor. I love how easy it works up. And I really, really like how soft it is in my hands. How squishy it is in my hands. I'm really enjoying knitting this. I wish I was actually making something with this. So, yeah. Check out Premier's website, their anti-pilling line, specifically the Everyday Medley. And thank you so much for watching me fumble with my yarn, play with my yarn. I really like just sitting here. Sometimes it feels like we're just friends hanging out and I'm knitting and I'm talking, even though I can't see you guys and you can totally see me. I still feel like, you know, we're all having a nice friendship here. Well, look how straight those stitches are. Dang, that's pretty. You guys want to see closer up? Look how pretty that is. See, this is the row where I was twisting the stitches, and then bam, straight. This is garter stitch. This is the star stitch. That's just some sampling. Isn't that pretty? So, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. You won't regret buying this yarn. It's beautiful. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.